groups of guys, but we also work together.
So I always come up here and I always like, to me this is like a giant man cave, okay? It's like a man cave for boys.
Yeah,
for
it
big
is.
boys to be little boys.
It is.
And I see all these buildings and I go, why not turn those into like little bed and breakfast type of little Airbnbs?
We have talked about doing something like that. But you know, let me tell you something. Our source of income here is very limited. People think we make $100,000 during races. That doesn't happen. This place is a money pit. There's always something here that needs money. If it wasn't for the volunteers, it wouldn't even exist.
Yeah, that makes sure those volunteers can do that.
So we also filmed part of Indiana Jones here.
Really?
Yes, we did. And I got to work on set with Harrison Ford.
Well, that's where I recognize.
Do you know that I took my picture here with Harrison Ford, George Lucas, and Steven Spielberg, all three of them. Being the shy kind of guy that I am,
Yeah, you really show.
And so the last Indiana Jones film, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, part of it was filmed here. A lot of fun. Harrison Ford flew in here with his own plane.
And he landed correctly.
Yes, he did.
Well, that would have been a disaster.
And so we had a great time. I gave Steven Spielberg a personal tour of the whole thing, because you know the building that Joe lives in is the admin building. It's the administration building. The original administration building. And so we have a museum there. And so Steven Spielberg, I gave him a tour of it. He was very impressed. Told me how his father was a radio man in a World War II bomber. Yeah. So I was having lunch with George Lucas. He was having a hamburger, and there was tables and tables of every kind of food you could think of. And I told George, I says, you know, there's some prime rib out there. He goes, I just love a good hamburger once in a while. And so I said, you know, I'd like to take a picture with you when we get a check. He puts his hamburger down and jumps up. I said, relax, relax, I don't mean right now. So a little while later, he gets up and we take the picture. Here comes Steven Spielberg.
Oh, our first name?
Yeah, we're on his first name basis.
Right. Oh, Steve.
And so I said, Steven, I'd like to get that picture with you. And so he came over and we took a picture. Now I need Harrison Ford's picture. Now Harrison Ford has got a separate dressing room from everybody else. He's got a motorhome parked over here, and he's got a security guard standing by it.
Wow.
So now the shoot is over. We had the party. They brought a whole truckload of Land Shark beer, Jimmy Buffett's beer.
Oh yeah.
A whole truckload. And so
all things to bring.
So now I go to get a picture of Harrison Ford. The security guard tells me I can't get a picture with him because Harrison Ford is too busy. He's flying out right away. And while he's standing there talking to me face to face, Harrison Ford comes out the dressing room up behind the security guard. I step around me, being the shy guy that I am. I step around the security guard and I say, Harrison, it was a lot of fun working with you today. Thanks for coming out. It really great, blah, blah, blah. And so I get the picture taken with him.
Good for you. That's a tough one. Yeah, rarity.
And so I get the 3 pictures and I take it into the local newspaper and they think it's a joke.
Really?
They think that I made this whole thing up.
Photoshopped.
They don't believe in none of it. So I take it to a small one-horse operation. The guy puts out a paper every 2 or 3 months, and He publishes the paper. He takes the pictures and he publishes it. And the people that at the other newspaper are in big trouble.
Good. That's funny.
And so when Harrison Ford crashed his plane in Southern California, they used the pictures that he took here in Eagle Field. And it was on the national news. No, not the same plane. Harrison Ford crashes one of his vintage planes in Southern California.
I know about that.
So they use this picture. It's a file picture that they got off the internet or something. And everybody's asking me what I was doing with Harrison Ford in Southern California in a vintage plane.
Man, what the stories.
Yeah.
Great stories. I mean, who would have known? This is Eagle Field.
It just
another thing, another movie I thought would be good here was that movie 1941 with the fake bombing of Los Angeles with what's his name, one of the comedians of the 70s. But at Fort MacArthur in downtown San Pedro, they reenact what it was some balloons flew over Los Angeles they thought were planes, and they shot them down, and the shrapnel injured more people than they shot down. There was no attack. It was all just people with. But the scenes of the whole movie, this era of the place is perfect.
So let me tell you that during one of the fly-ins here, we had a reenactment. The military guys had a reenactment, and so my wife actually got to shoot a .30 caliber machine gun.
Well, they have propane bullets?
Right. No. This was an actual .30 caliber that shot blanks.
Easy there, Alec Baldwin. I don't want no accidents. Please, no accidents.
No accidents.
On the set.
We don't have it. Everybody understands guns here.
Oh, good. Well, of course. These are a bunch of patriots up here, not like other movie sets.
We're the real deal.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
We understand what guns are and the dangers, and we don't have any incidents with it. None.
No, you never hear about any. You never hear about school shootings up here. You never hear about.
And we have. Do you see behind you? What do you see in that cabinet?
Oh, guns everywhere.
Everywhere.
Guns everywhere, right? There's a gun cabinet right there with a kid right there, and you don't care because they're raised with guns. They also learn gun safety.
Right.
You know, and they also know that what the Second Amendment is. You know, I don't think we should never lose that right. If we do, we'll be like Australia. That's totally taken over by the government.
We get that once in a while.
Cabinet?
Hey, Joe, you still have some CDs of the building of Eagle Field?
This is a field Japanese. We use a Japanese.
Well, I would like to see those. So get a copy.
So we was like this.
Okay.
That'd be great. You know how to do emails and stuff?
My wife does.
Okay.
I am not very.
It's funny because I always wonder, like,
That's me right there.
poor guy that she has to come home to after we all give her so much grief.
That's me
She
again.
has such a good job, never complains.
Well, you see, I'm actually out there too, but nobody notices me.
No, we're looking to do that's a pretty girl. So.
Because I do a lot of running around. I run all the errands for her. Guys in the staging lanes are not coming up. They need to go out there. So in the last few years, I've had some health issues. So now they got me a golf cart, and now I do the running around on a golf cart.
Okay, I'm going to end this now because there's a ton of just touch the iceberg.
You're gonna have